So I thought I would do a video inside as it's hot, so I've got the fan going at the moment, not the AC but the fan, just keeping it nice and cool. Um, Yesterday was a really very powerful day, and I felt very called to share. Um, so my cousin Jonathan here in Belize, um, he runs when cruise ships come in, you can book certain excursions, certain tours, and the cruise ship divides up. They can choose what company they want to go with, they can choose where they want to go. So I had an opportunity to, as there was 2 cruise ships in this week, to take the opportunity to go and do some excursions. So I just want to thank my cousin and his wife-to-be for the ability for me to have these experiences of beautiful paradise, and also of these watery life forces that I have come into connection with. I was able to snorkel and have a barracuda go right past me, and just snorkeling for me it was taking. I have some fears around open water, so I was able to squish them and have an experience. So really, that aside, that was just I just wanted to give that shout out before I go into the experience. So with these experiences, yesterday I went with the staff on the staff boat that carries all the food and provisions for those that come on this little island. And on this boat, we took this journey, which, as we got going, where me and my brother positioned ourselves, well, most of the boat was getting very wet. The morning waters were very choppy, and huge waves were coming in, and like I was drenched, absolutely drenched for 40 minutes. Like I just sat there. It may have been longer. It felt longer. At first, I was getting the towel, wiping my face down. Someone did offer for me to move, and I was like, no, this is fun. To them, it's probably cold, the water coming, but for me, the sea water was so very warm. And at first, all that salt, I was like, right, this is the best cleansing I could ever have. It was just coming and coming and coming and coming. And I could feel that salt just pulling, cleansing. And I realised, right, it was getting in my eyes, getting my face. I thought, right, meditate, sit here, sit in stillness and meditate. Let's move with the boat. It made me giggle. It was fun. But yeah, just move with it. And when I stopped to come into that presence, I also began to feel the air a lot cooler. It would be cooler at times, and it almost felt like it was connecting with me. It was talking to me. And I began to listen carefully and feel those waters begin to talk to me. So when I first started to have some abilities, the weather was the element that I connected with, that I was able to play with, or it allowed me to play with, and very much the wind. And so as I sat there, I understood, right, you'd receive cleansing. But the water, as it was showing me this chaos of just being battered, was showing me this feminine force, and the air in itself as well, very, very intense, very powerful, but very protective and nurturing. It felt good. It felt good. It's, it was showing me that those two elements of our watery emotions, you know, the triangle that points downwards and the triangle that points upwards, about them coming into unity. To create peace. But such is the universe that it also told me the gift of the chaos, you know, to allow that chaos within ourselves also, you know, the wild, to allow it to, that emotion, to just, I sat and just gave it freedom. I gave it freedom for the seed to be what it wanted to be and for the mind to be what it wanted to be. And I think sometimes within the spiritual community, we're told to be this and that and do this and that. And I'm guilty of that myself, you know. And what it really needs is just for us to be received as we are, for us to be received to, in each state, to be free, because we have to trust that the organic process of each individual and for ourselves will eventually take the path it needs to be. It's not determined by us by how long. It's not determined by us. So this powerful force, which I can feel it once again. So I just want to bring in the card that I read. The card that I read, a rage. I'm sure there was plenty that didn't agree, but I tend to channel things that are not of mass understanding. But that card came in at the right time for me to then go on to the second stage of process. And even though this was a process that I am going through for myself and for my generational trauma and for the collective, it's also, I hope you've come along on that journey for that process for you, for what I'm going to say next. So as I'm sat on the boat and I'm like, okay, got an understanding of this, I began to get taken back, and I could feel myself as a slave on a ship. And these waves, I could feel myself in the belly of the ship, and the waves coming through the holes on the side. I didn't feel like I was at the top, but I could feel this water touching, this connection. I think being within the Belizean seas, this ocean that would have made this crossing from Africa, it's here in Belize, it's very much, everyone's always like, oh, slavery ended a long time ago, and all you have to do is go to a Caribbean country to see that colonialism may have removed itself, but it is still there in the background, right? If you feel like switching off, you can switch off. I've spoken about things like this before and it triggers people. That's not my problem. But if you want to continue to listen and educate yourself, I very much appreciate it. So I'm sat there and I'm in that space, I'm in that place, and feeling it, feeling the sadness. I felt the tears and I just didn't want to draw attention to myself, so I didn't cry, but what came through was the rage card. and the rage that is carried through society. And this isn't just about the slavery that happened with the Africans or the genocide that happened with the Africans, the genocide that happened with the indigenous people of the land, of the Americas, of the Indians, of all these countries. The waters called on me in this moment to take the time to forgive. And I have forgiven. But I wasn't forgiven for myself. I was forgiven for all. And it was very powerful. And it was a bit hard. But I had a compassion and understanding that today we have a beautiful mixing pot in this world and all was to be as it was meant to be. And so I did forgive. I forgave the pain that runs through the bloodline still today, that carries with it this psychological damage. I forgave the system, the systematic slavery that still is going on today through us, through our distractions. The forgiveness was for all. It was a really beautiful process. And then I felt everything calmed down just a bit. And as it calmed down, I turned to my brother and said, "Oh, it's going to be all right now. The waves won't be lashing." So I got my towel and started wringing it dry. And then... and I could almost hear the waves be like, "Oh, don't be so cocky." And it was coming in a bit more, not as ferocious. And I thought, right, go back into that meditation. And as I went back in, you're beautiful, 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 you're beautiful. I mean, it was beautiful. I'm feeling beautiful looking into this camera. I'm wondering if there's any filters on it. But it's a process at the moment that I'm going through as I go through this transition of moving out of motherhood into the chrome. As I carry all this extra weight, as I try to not validate who I am from how I am on the external, but who I am on the internal. So actually my journey to that island was the most beautiful and special moment. The stingray once getting there was special. But that bond, that journey within the waters. And apparently that doesn't happen all the time. I think it's the first time it's been that rough on a clear day. So I'm very blessed with how these elements communicate with me on this trip. So if you've listened this far, thank you. And thank you for receiving me. Posting photos. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ashe.